What's up, guys? Isaiah here. I just wanted to make a quick video going over what actually makes a good working dog. Is it genetics? Is it training? Is it prey drive? Is it confidence? Or a combination of them all? Today I'm going to break down the 5 foundations I personally look for in a working dog, whether it be a dog like Star here in the background, which is my personal dog, or a German Shepherd or a Malinois. I figured I'll show you guys what I look for in a protection dog. Now, like I said, in the background, there's footage of me and Star playing around here, doing some different commands. We're primarily working sit down, here, heel, and a tactical heel. I've spent years working with dogs in obedience training, and more recently I've gotten into protection dogs. And I'm also studying animal science with a focus in animal behavior and training. And with a new working line German Shepherd joining my program soon, I figured this would be a perfect time to finally make this video. So let's jump into it. What makes a working dog? The top 5 foundations of a reliable working dog. The top 5 foundations of a reliable working dog. Number 1, prey drive. This one's huge. Prey drive is the instinct to chase, hunt, and engage a target. Number 2, genetics. Inherited traits that shape the drive, temperament, and structure, and overall working ability. This is what the dog is going to get from its parents, its its parents, its grandparents, its great-grandparents, just the genetics passed on from each litter. Confidence, the ability to remain calm, focused, and effective under pressure. This is very important when you're dealing with a working dog. This is usually tested in a few different ways. In younger puppies, there are these puppy tests that people do sometimes. They're helpful information. You can get a dog. Okay, like for example, when it comes to confidence and a younger dog, you might test things like, how does the dog react to people when they come in the door? Like, how does the dog react to strangers, other dogs, loud noises, different surfaces that the dog walks on? How does it react to a new surface, like a slick floor, a surface that might make a lot of noise, things like that? That's primarily what I'm talking about here. Attributes. This is number 4. This would be athleticism, endurance, structure, and the physical capability to perform demanding work. A lot of the dogs I've worked with in the past are primarily German Shepherds and Belgian Malinois. Personally, what I like, my favorite is the German Shepherd. I've had the most experience working around these. I actually took my first bite from a black Belgian Malinois named Raider. Pretty much the reason why I personally like the German Shepherd is I kind of like a dog that has an off switch. A lot of people describe the Malinois as a German Shepherd times 10. The Malinois is better for like military service and things like that. A lot of these dog breeds are interchangeable for specific work, but like I said, I like a dog that I can go hike in the mountains with, do protection sports with, but a dog that also has an off switch. A dog I can sit down with on Sunday nights and watch Game of Thrones with, and versus a Malinois that's like go, go, go all the time and always wants something to do. So that would be the physical attributes. That kind of varies from owner to owner and based off what you actually want in your working dog or your Shepherd or Malinois. But yeah, this part kind of varies. Typically with a German Shepherd, you're going to be dealing with a little bit more weight. Malinois would be kind of a bit leaner, but like I said, there's different breeders that produce different things, so like attributes can kind of vary from breeder to breeder. But I do like the bigger size. When I grew up, I always wanted a Shepherd and stuff like that, so I'm a little bit biased. But like I said, as far as workability, both of these dogs make great dogs when it comes to protection work. And then we're going to get into training. Developing natural instincts into reliable, controllable, and usable skills. This is going to be your obedience work, just working with the dog one-on-one, spending time with the dog, getting to know the dog, things like that. Training is very important for all dogs. Even if you're not even looking for a protection dog, all dogs need training. If you want a well-behaved dog that you can take out on hikes, take out in public, do things with, honestly, this should be closer to number 1 on this list. All dogs can be trained. A lot of the obedience commands that you saw me working with Star in the previous clips are also things that are interchangeable. Like if we go back here, you're going to see me working with, this is just the stay command. This is just me showing off some different things. I actually have the full clip of this available on my channel. This is working heel, 100% off leash, tactical heel here. You can hear me telling her back, reverse tactical heel, down position, tactical position, gave it the release command. But yeah, these are just things that all dogs, if you're, this is more advanced stuff right here. You don't have to teach your dog a tactical heel, obviously. But I'm used to working with protection dogs, so I just thought it was cool to teach my Siberian Husky that. And as you can see, she does very well at it. So yeah, the 5 foundations of a reliable working dog. Prey drive, the instinct to chase, hunt, and engage a target. Genetics, inherited traits that shape the drive, temperament, structure, and overall working ability. Confidence, the ability to remain calm, focused, and effective under pressure. Attributes, athleticism, endurance, structure, and the physical capability to perform demanding work. 5, training, developing natural instincts into reliable, controllable, and usable skills. And last, genetics, create potential, training reveals it. And like I said again, guys, all these things tie into this right here. This is why people tend to go for proven protection dog bloodlines. Like, for example, one of the puppies that I'm getting pretty soon comes from Czech working lines. You got, Czech working lines, you got DDR, you got East German working lines, Holland bloodlines, that's more for Malinois. There's tons of reputable places you can get these dogs from. The dogs you're seeing doing PSA, IGP stuff, they're primarily not going to be AKC. They're just not going to be AKC dogs. This video isn't about why AKC doesn't produce great dogs for this kind of stuff. If you're looking for a serious working dog, you're going to be going for Czech, DDR, Holland bloodlines for like Malinois, things like that. Typically stuff like that when it comes to a good working line German Shepherd or Belgian Malinois. Like I said, the genetics are just simply there. No dog's perfect, but typically you're going to be getting these right here. These top 5 foundations that I mentioned in the video: prey drive, genetics, confidence, attributes, training. Obviously you got to do training with the dog, but these things you're going to be getting out of those bloodlines I just mentioned. AKC dogs are beautiful and they can make great pet dogs. I'm not saying they can't be those things, but the workability and the genetics just aren't gonna typically be what you want for a PSA or IGP dog. Let's go ahead and go on to our next section. Alright, before we start, this is a video of some of the guys I train with that taught me how to train protection dogs. And here's a video of a 7-month-old German Shepherd. She's in the beginning stages of her bite work. So I'm gonna go ahead and play the video so you guys can see her. She's a beautiful dog. And as you can see, slowly easing her into it. He's got the sleeve on. Got the thicker sleeve back there in the background. He tossed off. And you see he's letting her tug on it. And see, we're not rewarding the tugging too much. You typically want a dog to punch inward. It gives her the praise. Let's go back here and watch that again. Like I said, and she rewards the dog as well. Watch this. Getting the dog to bite, bites. And you see when he's rubbing the dog's eyes and head there, he's getting the dog accustomed to being touched while biting. She punches in, he rewards the dog. He's moving backwards there. Let's show it one more time. You're gonna see when she starts tugging, he sort of falls over, but typically you want the dog to punch inward. And what I mean by punch is that the dog, moves forward toward the target when the dog begins biting. Let's watch that again. Dog makes contact. Let's see. See? Just keep watching. You see, and that's the thing, guys. They naturally want to pull. Like, they're instinctually, like if you ever see a wolf hunting elk, when they attack the elk, they typically want to pull and they want to shake their heads. That biting and tearing, just part of they're just like that. All dogs do that. You typically want to see the dog pushing in. Like I said, this is early in the dog's biting. So like I said, it's not going to be discouraged too much. You're just wanting to get the dog, you want to get the dog excited about doing the actual biting part. But as you can see, let's go back about right here. Let's go the initial bite, contact. He's petting the dog, getting the dog used to like the typical stuff. See, he gives the dog rewards the dog for biting. She's punching in, she's holding, he's rewarding the dog. You see how notice how he's doing it. The trainer here is Let's watch here. We're gonna pay attention to the trainer now. Moving backwards, hit the dog on the side, and that upward movement he's doing across the dog head. He's getting the dog accustomed to like stick hits. If you're doing something like, if you ever seen like IGP or Schutzen or even PSA, the dogs typically do get the stick hits and stuff like that, which kind of simulates what the dog would experience if it was being hit or if a weapon was being used or something like that. Just get the dog accustomed to the decoy actually fighting back is what you're going for there. And that's what the stick hits also simulate. Let's look at it one more time. Let's go straight through. You can see that's that drive we're talking about too here, guys. That drive, the dog actually wants to bite the decoy. He's going for it, sort of teasing the dog. Working on that prey drive. She's pulling. Watch when she up. See, she punches in. Stick hit. And there we go. That's what you're wanting. That's the early stages. Now we're getting, this is a dog that's had a lot more experience with biting and stuff like that. We got 2 decoys here, one in the background here. We got the handler and another decoy. It's going to be shown on screen here in a second. And notice the difference here. Notice what I was talking about with those stick hits earlier. Getting the dog accustomed to being, to being hit by the decoy and things like that. Watch here. Watch this. Dog alerts. The dog doesn't quite know who we're alerting on. And that's another thing you notice too when you're dealing with dogs with multiple decoys, and the dog gets accustomed. Let me see. Let's see if we can get a better shot here. The dog gets accustomed to seeing a decoy in one of these suits. This is why you have to transition the dog onto they're using like these fake plastic hands nowadays underneath like regular clothing. You got to transition the dog off of stuff like this, because when the dog gets accustomed to this, what people found out is that sometimes the dog, if he doesn't see the decoy suit, then he's like, okay, what am I doing? Do I actually bite the person? And that's when you run into a lot of problems with dogs. The dog still doesn't know exactly who he has to alert on. He's alerting. This decoy is showing aggression, and the guy has the weapon. She sends the dog, boom, goes straight in, stick hits, getting the dog accustomed to being hit. He's moving around. This is actually a really good video. Thing, guys, too. Notice he quiets down here. You want the dog to have that drive to actually go and attack the decoy, but also moments of silence like this, those temporary breaks in movement, silence, and not moving at all sometimes, is where the dog really shows how well trained it actually is. Because a lot of times, believe it or not, guys, when these dogs actually, you send the dog and it bites, if the handler's not doing anything, then the dog just lets go. It's like, what are you doing? Why aren't you, why isn't the prey trying to get away and stuff like that? So you actually do want to practice. Sometimes you want to practice these moments where, that you're not doing anything at all. You just sit there still. The dog has to go through these things so it knows, even if the target's not moving, even when the target's fighting back, I still need to hold on. I still need to be punching inward. And these are the things that make a good working dog. So let's play that last video back here again. Let's play from the start. Dog alerts. He's trying to figure out where the threat's coming from. And you see the decoy here showing signs of aggression. And you don't want the dog to just run out at the first sign of a decoy or a decoy suit. That's what you don't want. Going until the handler is either attacked, and as you can see here, the decoy showing signs of aggression. He's got the stick, approaching the owner, and he's saying stuff like, get that dog out of here. And like I said, this different scenario training is very important. Like, training is for the lifetime of the dog, guys. Even after a dog is trained to this level, you still got to go back and work. This particular place I was working with here had nights a couple times a week where they would just, drill different scenarios and, really see where each dog is at and work on each dog and depending on where it's at. But yeah, like Saturday nights was a big one. All the dogs working in protection work or protections work would come out, and we would drill different scenarios, and it was a lot of fun. But you gotta keep working with the dog. Like I said, dogs make mistakes just like humans do, and things can happen. You know what I mean? So play this again. The dog knows where the threat's coming from. She sends the dog. Boom. Nice strong hit. Working the stick hits here. Really solid. You notice the dog's pushing into him. That's what you want. You want the dog pushing inward, putting all its body weight onto the decoy. Let's go back here again. The dog's pushing. He's sort of swinging around here. When he stops moving, the dog's pushing in. Look at the dog's feet. Dog's pushing in, shaking. That's what you want. That's what you want. That's a good, well-trained protection dog. So yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching.